We all say that D&D is fun, and it doubtlessly is. This is doubtlessly a big driving force behind why we choose to engage in this particular hobby week after week, month after month, sometimes year after year. But is that really the whole story, or is there more to it? Is this a deeper discussion? That's what we're going to dive into today. You're not going to want to miss it. Before we get started today, I just want to give a big shout out to our gold level supporters, David and Craig. Thank you so much for supporting GM Philosophy and everything that goes on both in front of and behind the scenes. Now, we all know that D&D is a fun thing. There's no debate about this. This is why we do it. Or is it? Is it actually why we do it? The working definition for the word fun is a state of playful engagement that sparks joy, excitement, and lighthearted absorption in the moment. There's no doubt about it. Escapism matters, laughter matters, joy matters. But I think that there's an important question to be asked. Is that really why we play D&D? Like, is that the primary reason? If not, what is the primary reason? And why is this question even important? Here's why this question is important. Whenever we choose to spend time on something in life, it's important that we understand what priority that has in our life. This determines whether we're going to cancel D&D to go out to eat with friends when invited, or if D&D is so sacred to us that no friends, I can't go out to eat because I have a D&D game. See, it's a matter of priority. Which one matters more to you? Sometimes this may be a difficult thing to think about. Now, the purpose of this video isn't necessarily to help you decide whether or not to go out to eat or to go to D&D. The purpose of this video is to have basically a fireside philosophical discussion on the topic, basically. And I kind of want to share with you my points about this. Here at GM Philosophy, the goal of the channel is to empower game masters to run better games. In fact, you can grab my top 10 tips ebook to help you level up your gaming instantly overnight. Read these tips, absorb them, deploy some of them at your next game, and boom, your game just might turn out to be better than ever. And I think that understanding where D&D falls in our life is an important part of that discussion, because here's the thing. If it's just for fun, does it really matter if we're good at it? If it's just for fun, does it really matter what kind of effort we put in, right? If it's just for fun, does it matter if we play a super silly game and don't take it super seriously? If that doesn't sound like a fun thing, why not? Because it's not fun. But what makes it not fun? Like, what exactly is? And so that thing that makes a certain type of gaming not fun for us, isn't it possible that that is actually more important and a higher priority than the fun itself? Maybe fun isn't the reason. Maybe fun is the symptom. Maybe fun is the result of us doing something for an important reason. But what is that reason? I think this is an important conversation, and I'm going to share some notes with you. So let's unpack some alternative drivers. Why do people actually play D&D? Okay, there's a number of things. There's a belonging factor. It's like a community factor. We get together with friends. This is time to spend with people we enjoy. Now, this is obviously a very important part of D&D, having other people involved, getting to spend time with them, regularly having community with them is really important. However, there are many things we could do to facilitate this. We could just go out to eat together. We could go to the park together. We could go watch a movie together. So why D&D? This doesn't fully explain it. Another reason we play D&D is for creative expression. Whether it's painting minis, doing voices, writing character backstories, or telling the story itself, there's a creative element to this. Personally, I think that this is probably the biggest thing that separates D&D from most other hobbies, is the collaborative, creative element of it. So that's a very strong contender for why we would even do it to begin with, because we want to create something. We want to create something meaningful. We want to create something that matters to us. And, for playing a game like D&D, which is probably fantasy oriented, then it's like, we love that genre for good reason. It's a fun genre. It's very popular. Some people also choose to play D&D because there is sort of a personal growth therapy element to it. Not that D&D is the equivalent of going to therapy. However, the thing is that D&D actually is therapeutic in the sense that role-playing through alternative personality types, alternative moral alignments, alternative ethical considerations, these things can help us to see the other side of the coin, help us to understand not only our beliefs and viewpoints better, but also those of other people. So for example, if I'm a staunch conservative politically, but I role play in the game a staunch liberal, then I'm going to need to really lean into what makes that character tick. That's going to give me a really interesting inside look at that side of life that I probably don't have eyes on very often. So some people play because of this. Another reason is challenge and mastery. So D&D, there's a certain element to where it is a puzzle game. So there's a very serious strategic combat element to D&D. You have the minis usually on the hex grid. You have spells with specific ranges and abilities. So there's a tactical element to it. Some people play because they like it. It's more like a combat minis game to some people than a role-playing game. There's also in-game puzzles, and you can optimize your character to try to get the best damage output or the best number of spells, whatever. Some people really enjoy this aspect of the game. It's almost a video game like aspect to the game where you can kind of try to min max and get the most out of it and be proficient and win at the tactical challenges. So that's another reason people play. And then there's legacy and tradition. So there's multi-generational stories, shared lore that continues from adventure to adventure, from campaign to campaign. Personally, I've played in adventure arcs, like entire campaigns that would span years. I had probably my longest running, most successful campaign lasted about 10 years, 3 big campaigns that were linked in the same world. Many of the same characters came back, were recurring. This was really fun and really successful. And by the time we got to the end of that 3rd campaign, it was so special because there was so much shared legacy and tradition between me and then the other people there. And that's also another thing. That's why I think I choose to play D&D when I do, instead of just devoting my time to writing a book. Because if I write a book, it's like, oh, I have this shared legacy and tradition. That's awesome. But if I'm sharing it with other people who also care about it, it makes it more special. That's the collaborative nature. And that gives it life and it gives it deeper meaning. So these are all things that matter. It's also true that D&D isn't always 100% fun, right? So sometimes for me, it's a little stressful to show up to D&D. If I feel like I'm too busy in my life, I might be tempted to cancel it. The biggest temptation for me to cancel a game of D&D would be that I feel like I have too much work to do, or I feel like there's too much on my to-do list, and that playing D&D would take away from those things that I feel like are really important in life. Then I would be tempted to cancel D&D. That's probably the most likely reason. So for me, playing D&D during these times isn't always necessarily fun. Sometimes I'm showing up, and yes, I do enjoy it, but I'm not like necessarily like, oh, I can't wait to get to D&D. It's more like I'm trying to get as much work done as possible and then stopping work at the last possible moment to then go to D&D. My dog is being very loud today. He's in the background. Right now he's itching. And when he itches, it is so loud. It sounds like a chain rattling. So I'm just filming this. There's a lot of background noise. I apologize. It's also true that sometimes D&D isn't fun if there are like rules disputes. Sometimes D&D may not be fun because there might be calendar chaos. You might think, I want to play D&D, but then you have to cancel because you have something come up. Maybe your family has an event or there's something going on with work and you have to cancel. Then you miss a session. Now you're behind. That's not fun. Why not just buy a video game that you can play on your own time whenever you want? Then there's no calendar nonsense to worry about, right? Same could be said for me. Why would I continue to play a game if sometimes playing the game stresses me out if I feel like I have too much going on? Why do I keep showing up to it? Why do I stay committed to it? And generally speaking, when I do feel like that, if I feel like my to-do list is getting too large, I'll still show up to D&D. Why? Because I'm committed to it. So, but why would I do that? Is it for fun? I don't think fun is the predominant driving force for me. And I would argue that it's not the predominant driving force for a lot of really creative game masters either. I want to pose a question to you and drop me a comment. Let me know. What keeps you playing when the session isn't all laughs? What keeps you playing when fun maybe isn't at the top of the list of things you experience when you play D&D? And I'm not trying to say that like, oh, it's actually this miserable thing. No, no, no. It is fun. We all know it's fun. It's a lot of fun. I'm just trying to say that fun maybe is more of a byproduct, not the reason. And you might engage in it because you want the byproduct of fun. And to a point, we all do. Why would we do it if it was pure misery or if it just caused unending pain and suffering? We probably wouldn't do it. However, I think that there's an argument to be made that identifying the prime reason, predominant reason that we play D&D will help to show us that that is actually the reason we play, and that joy, laughter, fun, these are actually just positive byproducts of an objectively beneficial and positive hobby. Here's my personal thesis for this. For me, the ultimate goal isn't merely fun. That's a byproduct of it. Joy, laughter, fun, even fulfillment, satisfaction. These are sort of on the side. They're the byproducts. Here's what keeps me coming back to D&D. It's crafting a collaborative work of art that survives the table and has meaning with the people I engage in it. Recording and sharing my campaigns on YouTube turns fleeting dice rolls into an enduring narrative that can inspire years from now, that I can go back and watch years from now, that will be shared between me and the other players years from now. That lasting creation, I think, and really it points to creative expression and legacy and tradition. I think that these are the predominant reasons why I keep playing D&D, why I prioritize it so highly, and why I choose to have a YouTube channel about it to begin with. That's why it's that important to me. Obviously, sense of belonging is there. Obviously, personal growth, and there's a therapy aspect of it too for me. Challenge and mastery is probably one of the lesser reasons I play D&D. So I don't necessarily just revel in the combat minis part of it. I do enjoy that. But if I was only focused on that, I'd probably play video games instead. But it's really the creative expression for me, creating something with other people, creating something better with other people than I could create by myself, and the legacy and tradition of it. So that's my answer. And I would love to hear what you think. Drop a comment. Let me know what you think. As always, the goal here at GM Philosophy is to empower game masters to run better games. And here's just my closing statement. I think that when we understand why we're doing the thing, like really the real reason and what is important to us about it, this helps to inform how we can make it better. If the goal for you actually is to have fun, then you should do the things that lead to you having more fun at the game. But if the goal for you is to create a work of art, well, that's a slightly different goal. So you should do things that will lead to a better work of art. That doesn't mean it's not going to be fun. It just means that fun is not the highest priority. And for me, that actually is the priority, creating an incredible work of art that I can look back on with a sense of satisfaction and fulfillment, creative expression. And so, boom, that's going to be it for this one. Thank you so much for coming back for another episode of GM Philosophy in the Morning. At this point, I'm here almost every day creating videos about the best game in the world, D&D. Roll some D100s for me at your next game. I will see you awesome people on the next one.